This is the All Bets Are Off podcast with Robby Vegas.
Rock soldiers, welcome back to the All Bets Are Off podcast with Robby Vegas. I would normally introduce all my guests one by one, but they've all been here before. So I'm going to let them go around the horn. We'll start with Chaz and everybody can introduce themselves.
It's your boy Chaz, and I'm happy to be here for part 2 of this epic saga. And I'm going to throw it over to my right in my pictures to Troy.
How's everybody doing? Troy from Wednesday 13. Nice to see you again. Yay.
And
I'm going to throw it over to
Mike.
That's waiting for that part.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
Sorry, Mike.
Are they coming to me or is it coming to the other mic?
We'll go to Mike first because he's
Dupke
next
first.
in
Yes.
line.
What's going on? Mike Dupke, also from Wednesday 13's been. And now we're going to throw it over to
Michael.
What's up, everybody? Michael Thomas here from Steven Adler's band, Adler's Appetite, Faster Pussycat, Beautiful Creatures, and a list of other bands.
Okay.
I love that. I love that you just listed those out just because those are all bands that I love. And I just wanted these guys to be like, man, we should have said our other bands too.
But it's the 80s theme, right? So
Well, I'm Chaz. I'm in a bunch of bands you've never heard of because I'm not cool, famous musicians like these guys.
So today we're all here for the same purpose. We're all huge Kiss fans. Mike and Troy are returning from the 70s Kiss draft, and Michael's here for the first time for the 80s Kiss draft. Not to say he won't be here again for the next one. We'll see how he enjoys us this time around. But so
He's got to put up with me this time, Robby, not just you.
yeah, that's the difficult part. When it's just me, everything's pretty kosher. So so the way we do this is, like some of you know, I have these Kiss cards here. And as I'm going back and forth, you're going to tell me what card you want, and whatever card you pick, that's who's going to, be going first, second, third, fourth, fifth. We run it like the first person goes twice. When it gets back to him, all the way down the line. Last person goes twice, all the way back up. So that's how we're going to be running it, just like last time. But this is new for Michael, so we're just going over the rules.
all right.
So I think last time, who went first last time, actually?
Mike.
Mike did.
Did I? Okay.
All right. Well, before we even pick, can we just point out the fact that the last time we did this, we had a fifth voice that was none of us that came on the show and told Mike to shut up while he was taking a pick. And we have no idea where it came from. It's still out there. It's on the YouTube. It's on Apple. It's on Spotify, wherever. And there's literally a disembodied voice while Mike is talking that says, shut up. And we have no idea where that came from.
Still pretty cool.
I guess goes to show it's like why I've never really had a supernatural experience. I guess because apparently I annoy them. So maybe
Well-
that's why I keep the ghosts away.
I think we decided that it was Mark St. John.
Yes.
Hey.
It probably would
Mike.
have been a little bit more busy if it was Mark St. John.
Would have been shut up. Wait, we can't have you talking like that. We can't have you talking like that. Talking.
So Mike, how about since you went first last time,
Gotcha.
which card do you want?
And big bucks, no whammies. Stop.
All right. This time you're going third.
Oh, hey.
Chaz, you keeping record of this?
Yeah, I'll keep track of the draft as long as my pen doesn't run out of ink.
Well, let's just go from Mike to Michael. We're gonna hover here. Which one are we taking?
Let's take that one.
This one here.
Yes, sir.
You are going fifth.
Whoa. All right.
It's not a bad place to be because you're always going to get 2 picks in a row.
As long as you like 80s Kiss music, unlike Troy.
Hey, I love it. But I'm just not as familiar as the 80s as I am with the 70s.
We got you. Got to throw
That's
some
fair.
shade. You know that.
All right. Well, that being said, Troy,
All right. Well, that one.
Troy's going first.
You know what?
Damn.
And
All right.
Troy's going first. And I lied. Mike didn't go first last time. I did.
Oh, okay.
Mike went second.
Well, Chaz, where are you going this time?
I am going to the one closest to your mouth.
You said that last time. Number 2,
That's why it worked good for me.
and I'm going fourth.
All right, so the lineup is Troy, Chaz, Mike, Robby, Michael. So, like Robby explained, I'm the fantasy football expert here. It
I
goes
didn't
that
explain that.
order: Troy, Chaz, Mike, Robby, Michael. Then the second round goes opposite: Michael, Robby, Mike, Chaz, Troy, and it keeps going in that order back and forth. If you guys, like I said, a song gets picked, it's gone. And then I don't know if we explained this on air or not, but we're putting Hot in the Shade in the 90s. So from Unmasked up until I guess Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits.
Yes.
There's your window. And
But
if
you
you need
can't
some
use-
reinforcements, I've got all the records here to show you, just in case.
But you cannot use the greatest hits on Smashes Thrashes. You can only use the new songs.
True, the new songs. Same thing with Killers. Oh, and we did make a rule because the 80s is really, really dominated by Paul. You have to have a Gene Simmons song. You have to. Okay? You have to have one Gene Simmons song, at least. You have plenty. But me, there's a good chance that I end up with 5 to 15 Paul songs, so I have to force myself to take a Gene song. So no offense, Troy.
That's fine. It's fine.
All right. Well, I think Troy's going to kick us off right now, actually.
All right. I'm sorry, Mike. I don't mean to upset you, but
Oh no.
Oh, no.
Oh
I'll
no.
start with Torpedo Girl.
Oh no.
All right.
Sorry, Mike. I'm sorry.
I've got
buddy.
my list is long. I can make adjustments.
Oh no. Now the reason this is controversial for if Michael didn't listen and for everyone at home that didn't listen to the 70s episode, our friend Mike here thought that 1980 was included in the 70s draft. He tried to draft Torpedo Girl.
Recorded in '79. Come on, that's,
You are correct. You
we
are
can
correct.
squeeze it.
Technicality,
in.
right?
Okay.
79.
So well,
The-
Troy snaked you.
The look on Mike's face right now tells me it's not okay, but he's really trying to play it off like it's
What are you
okay.
talking about? It's fine.
I'm sorry, my brother. I'm sorry, man. It's just a really, really good song, man. I mean,
It is
you
a
know,
good song. A
Well,
funky
tell us
ass
why.
bass line.
Tell
Yeah,
us what
why
you
do-
like about it.
yeah, the bass line. I just like the song. I like Ace sounds nice, man. It's a good all around song. It still sounded a little oldie, but yeah, I like it, man. It's just good. It's a good Ace from that era.
And to be fair, it's barely a Kiss song. There's no Gene. There's no Peter.
Right.
I don't know if there's Paul on there or not. So it's almost an Ace solo track, but it still counts.
You can
That's
definitely hear Paul on the part where he says, "Come on, get your feet wet." That's that line that Paul is definitely helping out there. The rest of the vocals, I'm not so sure on.
Right. I like the way it starts. It's an interesting little nonsense that Ace is doing and shit like that. So it's just a good all around song.
He's just got that look on his face like, fuck you, Mike.
Let's see. Wait till I see you on tour next.
No, that was on my pick, but I'm not surprised that it went before him because it's awesome.
Yeah, you're very well versed on these albums, Mike. So I'm sure you're gonna have no issues.
I got
That's-
no issues.
Accurate.
I got picks at the yin yang.
All right.
Right.
If I
Well,
remember,
didn't
we're
you-
jumping to
who played-
Chaz.
Who played drums on Unmasked? That was Anton
Anton Fig.
right?
Yeah.
Anton Fig, yeah.
So
There's
Right.
even you can hear there at the very end of Torpedo Girl. There's double kick on there, and you can tell like Peter Criss never even went
No.
near a double kick.
well, even
set,
the intro of
so-
that song, he's doing some weird Anton Figgy thing there at the beginning. It's definitely not a Peter Criss thing.
Hashtag
Sound like a damn
Anton Figgy.
submarine.
Yeah. Mike took the words out of my mouth on that one.
Anton Figgy.
Yeah, just like that.
Anton
very
Fig
Anton
knew it.
Figgy.
All right. All right. Well, we're gonna go into my track, and it's hard. It was so hard for me to pick because I'm a big Paul Stanley mark, and Paul Stanley ruled the 80s. So of course I'm going with the Paul Stanley song, and there's millions and millions to pick from. But I am gonna go with Creatures of the Night.
Never go wrong with that song.
Driving song. The sound is amazing. The drums are amazing. So Paul Stanley sounds amazing. This is the beginning of his dominance vocally from 1983 to 1996. So like Paul Stanley, Eric Carr, Creatures of the Night, welcome to the squad.
I knew that was going to go in the first round for somebody. There was no way that one was making it into the second round.
No.
But I'll tell you what, though, the live version of that is just as good. It's really powerful.
Hell yeah.
For sure.
Hey, Scott, when did Ace split out in the middle of that session?
Is
he
I
he-
think
did
it's
a bit.
I believe on Paul's audiobook, he said he does not think that Ace recorded anything on Creatures, that he's on the cover because he technically was still in the band, but that he's actually not on the record. They have a variety of lead guitarists playing solos, but not
Right.
Yeah, that's what I
Man.
thought. But I mean,
Well,
it's a really,
yeah.
really cool cover. Just saying.
Yeah. I swear, I don't know if I'm imagining this, but I swear there was a second pressing of Creatures with Vinnie Vincent in the same fucking picture as the one with Ace. Has anybody seen
No,
that, or am I
no,
imagining?
Yeah.
what you're thinking of is like a more of a Photoshop thing. There was a
Yeah.
second pressing, but it was with Bruce. So there
Right.
was 2 official pressings of the album with
Right.
approximately 0 lead guitar players on the cover.
Yes, because the other pressing did have Bruce and there was no makeup. It was just,
Yeah.
what it was. But yeah, there's a fan made one floating around where they replaced Ace with Vinny and it looks really cool. There's also one floating around with Peter on it.
Wow.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
And that brings us to Mike.
Ba-ba-da-ba, ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba. I am going, and you guys are going to laugh that this is my first pick because I am going way out in left field for this one, because this track is not even overlooked, but I think barely even mentioned by Kiss fans. And I just always loved it because it was Kiss, but also even in some of their weirdest moments, they produce, in my opinion, sheer greatness. It's off of The Elder, and the song is the instrumental "Escape from the Island."
Oh, wow.
All right.
And it just goes to show, because that's obviously not the first instrumental that Kiss has put out with Love Theme from Kiss, but also they never shied away from just letting the band as players shine without any vocals. Like if you listen to the live version of Let Me Go Rock and Roll, the whole second half is just riffs, and it's not even just guitar soloing. It's they're focusing on just the power of the riff. And Escape from the Island is just riff after riff. I remember I played it for my sister at one point, and she's like, "Is this Anthrax?" And it got that, it's one of the heaviest songs because remember, they hadn't put out Creatures yet.
Yeah.
And so that comes on, it's what the hell is this? This is slamming. This makes you go 110 down the freeway. And that's why that's got to be my number one pick. And it barely gets mentioned, ever. I mean, The Elder barely gets mentioned at all, but they talk about World Without Heroes or something like that. And always love that song.
It's funny that you say it barely gets mentioned, because it never gets mentioned ever.
That's true.
But we are both picking tracks off The Elder back to back in the first round, because my first round pick is actually A World Without Heroes.
Okay.
Nice.
I needed to snake a good Gene one, and
There isn't many.
and I will say that the acoustic version is a lot better, in my opinion. But I do love this song, and it's really different as far as Kiss is concerned, and I think that's why I kind of gravitate to it. Not as different as the rest of Elder that nobody talks about, but different enough to make it stand out. But I think it's one of his better songs, period, not just from the 80s.
And you were right, the acoustic version is great, but the original version is almost just as fantastic. And big shout out to one of the only few lead guitar solos done by Mr. Paul Stanley.
Yeah, good point. So that being said, it's Michael for 2. He gets 2 picks back to back.
Yeah, let's
I
give
get
us your
2
first
picks.
one first, Michael. We'll focus on the first rounder. What is your first rounder?
Okay, so for me, this is the most, I guess, what's the word I'm looking for? It's the biggest anthem that I think of, Kiss in the 80s. Whenever you hear the song, you just automatically just start just bobbing your head to it, So I'm starting with Creatures and I Love It Loud.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
nice.
it's just such an anthem, dude. It's crazy. It doesn't matter where you are. The minute that comes on and that verse kicks, and oh, by the way, that counts as my Gene song, right?
That's true.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, I just love it. Absolutely love it. One of my favorites. And I think that just kind of like, it sums up some of the attitude, the 80s attitude that Kiss threw out, back then.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fucking timeless.
I
And it's
agree.
funny when the way you were prefacing it about saying anthem and everything, I already started to write down "I love it loud." I knew it. Like as soon as I'm like, that's what it is. And crazy for the first round, one Paul song after I said Paul dominated the 80s. One Paul song in the first round, and all of the songs are from the first 3 albums. So interesting.
Oh, wow. Well, I mean, 2 songs from Creatures, 2 songs from The Elder, and 1 from Unmasked.
Yeah. So just to set it off before Michael kicks in with round 2, we got Torpedo Girl, Creatures of the Night, Escape from the Island, A World Without Heroes, and I Love It Loud. Nobody would ever seen a lot of those. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I did not have that on my Kiss bingo card
Right.
for sure.
Yeah, right. Well, Michael, you're kicking off round 2, man.
All right, cool. So I guess I did get lucky with position number 5 because I thought this would be snatched up super quick. And for me, like my next pick, dude, it just reminds me of being that whatever 8-year-old kid. And I think this track was like on you remember those like K-Tel like compilation albums they used to come out with?
Yeah.
Right.
So anyways, Lick It Up. There's to me, like there's just something so simple but so cool about that guitar riff, and obviously they followed the riff with the same vocal cadence, so that helped really get it to stick in your brain, but man, there's just something so simple and so cool about that. Like
I agree.
It reminds me of my youth and reminds me of that compilation record. Okay, like obviously that's foreign to some people, but and on just a total side note, on that same K-Tel compilation album, there was a Van Halen song, and I was like, oh, amazing, cool, there's a Van Halen track, and it was like something I'd never heard before. And have you guys ever heard their version they did of Dancing in the Streets?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And it's super keyboard heavy, right? And I'm like, holy shit, where's the guitar? Where's it's even on this track? I was so bummed, dude. I was so bummed out. I listen to it now, I'm like, oh, it's fun, but as a kid, I was waiting for the big epic guitar shit to come in and just scorch my face off.
Right.
And totally different vibe. So anyways, Lick It Up is my second pick.
I gotta add to that too by also pointing out that Lick It Up on Alive 3 was fucking killer. I know that we can't pick that right now, but oh my God, just to me, that's the version of Lick It Up I think of.
Yeah, the Live 3 is great. And I don't know what Michael's talking about foreign records and everything like that. There's my Lick It Up vinyl right in my hand. So
yeah, don't you have like 3 versions of that?
That one I had, yes, 3, the original, and I accidentally bought 2 of the new pressings. so well, for what is it? I think the original album, Kiss, I have the original Kiss. There was like a 35th repressing. There was like a 40th repressing, and they're probably gonna do a 50th repressing this year. So
Yeah, probably. So I guess it's back to me now for my second round pick. And I gotta go with one that's about fighting, since I'm a wrestler. But it's not about fighting. It's about fighting hell to hold you. I love that tune, and that is officially my second pick. So number 2, I'll fight hell to hold you.
Prove it. Sing it. Sing the chorus right now.
No. I can't. That song just fucking kicks ass, man. Like I don't even feel like I need to say anything else about it other than go listen to it.
Dude, for Paul Stanley to be, what is that? That's Crazy Nights, right?
Yep.
Right. So that's 87. So Paul's like what? Pushing like 37. Probably like my age. I'm 37. So my age now. Dude, he must have had his balls in such a vice to hit those notes in that fucking song, because it is out of control high in that whole album, but especially that song. Like I couldn't ever, and I sing pretty high. If they were like, yo, you're gonna join Kiss. We're gonna do these higher range songs. Here's one of them. And be like, you know what? You can find somebody else.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't really think we have much else to say about that one because we all just kind of nodded in agreement that it was badass. So
Yeah.
we'll just go right to Mike.
All right, and speaking of, I'm gonna kind of take a parallel angle along with my Gene song, first Gene song pick anyway, because yeah, I think the '80s are for both Gene and Paul. That's when they hit their peak vocally. I think Gene has a couple of non-makeup songs that just surpass vocally. I'm not saying the songs were better, but just vocally, he's just going above and beyond anything he did in the '70s, and certainly on this track, off of "Lick It Up," I'm going to go with "Fits Like a Glove" for my second track because he is just screaming his ass off. And it's killer because like when he really digs in like that, I'm a big fan of like when vocalists, you know, like sound like they're almost gonna break, but they never quite do it, like where they just hit in the top of the register. And when he does that, you know, hot knife through butter part, you know, it's like oh yeah. And it's just like, oh, it's everything you love about that, and the song just drives. It killed on Animalized Live, like it translates live beautifully. And that's going to be my favorite just because that it's such a awesome straight ahead rocker with an amazing vocal performance by Gene.
The way you explained the vocals you like and then that song makes me want to hear Wednesday sing it.
He probably
I bet
could.
he could kill it.
Yeah.
I bet he knows. He probably knows all the words already.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
Probably so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Talking Kiss with Wednesday. Yeah, he definitely knows the words to everything now.
And it's funny that when Mike, you know, describes the song, he goes to the part of the song. When I roll through her, it's so Gene, it's so corny and it's epic, and I absolutely love that part.
Well, Gene had an interesting voice always, and I think that aside from Kiss fans, he never really got credit for it. You know what I mean? Like he can sing, and it is very good. You know.
Well, he's also an underrated bass player.
Yes, he is.
You know, some of his shit, a lot of people just think he's a very simplistic. Try to play some of the shit. It's not as fucking easy as you think.
Yeah,
and it's
I
got
agree.
soul, you know?
Mm-hmm.
He is
And I don't
definitely
think-
backboard.
I don't think he got the credit vocally in the '80s too, because in all honesty, like his songs were not there. His songs were not as, he had good tunes, but like
Right.
obviously we all know it's like it was Paul, you know, who was kind of carrying the band at that point. But
Right.
the ones that were there and that he was able to deliver on it, that were just kick ass, man.
Well, speaking of
100%.
Gene, I'm gonna go get my Gene out of the way, and we're going off of the album Scene here. We are looking at Unmasked, and I know that seems weird because there's still plenty of Gene songs like on Creatures and whatnot, but one of my favorite Kiss songs and one of my top maybe 2 or 3 favorite Gene songs of all time is Naked City. And I'm going with Naked City. I love the chord progressions. I love the bass line. I think his voice sounds amazing in there. He's hitting super high falsetto notes at the end of it. So like Naked City, top tier Gene song for me. And I'm happy to welcome it to Team Chaz.
I knew that one was going to go. That one had to go. So
On my list too. That song sound very, I don't know, movie soundtrack-ish.
Yeah.
To me, just how wide it was, and just the vibe and the feeling of it was just a really cool song. Definitely, it was definitely on my list.
Yeah, it really focuses on Gene. Like, yeah, his voice, he's singing it, but like, when I think of that song, I don't even think of the guitar riff. I'm a guitar player. The guitar riff is me, like that's all it's doing.
Right.
Where Gene Simmons like boom, 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 like he's just all over the place. Like,
What's the guitar riff again?
It sounds like an alarm almost.
I actually thought we were tapping into an Aflac commercial there for a minute.
They're all a bunch of assholes, and I love y'all.
No, it's awesome.
All right, so we're gonna kick it over to Troy for 2.
All right, and I think I'm gonna go with just a killer Paul song off of Creatures. I Still Love You.
Oh, you bitch.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, I knew that was on your list, bro.
Ah.
So that's just a all around fucking
I'm not
killer
even
song.
lying. That's number one. I should have went with it.
I expected it to go number one.
Oh,
Yeah, there's something about that song that just flows so good. And his vocal performance on it's fucking killer.
Oh God, yeah.
It
Yeah.
just hits you in all the fucking feels.
Yeah.
it hits you in the feels, and even I think it's Vinny on that song. It's just it's a smooth, emotional guitar solo. It's not Vinny going off and doing Vinny stuff that he did in the Invasion. He's actually like playing with some soul.
Right. What do you mean, like soloing over the top of the lead vocal in the middle of the verse?
Yes. Like it's got a lot of soul and heart to it. And I read this thing, and I still don't believe it, where Paul Stanley says he didn't write it about anybody in particular. It was just a song that came together.
No way.
Bullshit.
No way.
You don't write a
Yeah.
song like that without something in mind, man.
Yeah. Because he was like, yeah, I'm not going to tell everybody that bitch's name.
Yeah.
Like, that's what he was thinking.
Yeah. And the rebirth of it in the 90s with Unplugged and on Alive 3, and just like, I Still Love You. Damn it, I should have took it instead of Naked City. Damn you, Troy.
Any version of I Still Love You is great. Like anything, anytime you've ever heard it, yeah, it's always fantastic. You could tell he still puts his heart and soul into it long after the original recording.
And I even
Right.
love like the riffs and then like the clean picking part. Like Robby can attest to this. I got a new amp about a month ago, and I sent him a recording of me playing "I Still Love You" just because I love how clean the clean sounds and how dirty the distortion sounds. Great.
And I
Trivia
texted him back.
Nuts, Trivia Nuts, who played bass on that track?
Hold
Troy.
on. Yeah, it was
Troy
I'm not that
didn't.
fucking old. God damn it!
No, so do you guys know this?
No,
I don't
Eric
think so.
Carr played
Really?
bass
really?
on "I Still Love You." True story.
Badass.
That
I
I did
guess
not know.
Gene was not present in the studio that day, so I'm sure Paul probably could have done it himself. But yeah, Eric Carr plays bass on that
Wow.
song.
Sweet.
I did not know that.
My man.
I will say when Chaz sent me those recordings, I said, "Why are you fucking bothering me?"
That's true.
All right, I think we're still on Troy, right?
Yeah, so we
All
got
right,
first
yeah.
2 rounds done. Troy, you started off with some Torpedo Girl, and then you were an asshole and took "I Still Love You."
All right, I'm gonna knock my Gene out, and it's just one of my favorite songs. Same album, Creatures, War Machine.
Oh, bitch.
That's a driving song. It's always been, you know how heavy I am into Gene shit, and that's just epitome of Gene, sort of. Rah, you know.
Yeah,
Just
you snaked my next pick for sure.
Well, we have a lot of the same taste, brother. You know.
Yeah, right.
Written by who, Troy? Who wrote that song?
About that. I don't know, Mike.
I know. Does anyone else know?
I do.
believe it
Did
was
someone who maybe
Tulip?
someone who got
One of
their
the
first
Tulips?
real 6-string, bought
Yeah.
it at the 5 and dime.
a
That's right.
Canadian guy.
Fucking
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
Really? All right,
Yep.
I did not know this.
Yes, written by Gene Simmons and Brian Adams.
Sure is.
What the fuck?
Right?
I saw him credit on. I thought that was such a weird combination. Like
Yeah.
I didn't know that they'd actually collaborated together.
Yeah.
Right.
Awesome. I mean, Brian Adams is a hit writer, you know, like especially
Right.
in the late 70s, early 80s. That's all he had was hits.
Yeah.
All not
Right.
songs. So
I would love to see him bust that out at one of his own shows.
Yeah.
Just here's a song I wrote back in the 80s with a guy named Gene Simmons, and the whole crowd's going, "What?"
Well, I'm familiar obviously with Brian Adams, but I'm not so familiar with his like career. So that album came out in what, 83?
82.
So like
82.
what, Brian Adams was a thing already at this point?
No, not really. He was. I think he had like a minor hit or something like that, but he hadn't really broken through with like Summer of '69 and I think that was the Reckless album. I could be wrong about that, but yeah, all those hits like Summer '69 and Run to You had not come out yet, so he was still probably making a bit of bank with writing with other people at that point.
Oh
Well,
wow.
we need to do our research for our Brian Adams song draft episode coming up.
I'm actually not going to participate in that, but I'll set up the Zoom and let you guys do it.
I'll be out after like round 2 probably because I'm not that. I actually did used to cover his stuff though, but there we go. War Machine, I like it. So now we're back to me, right?
Yep, back to you.
All right, guys, we're going off of this bad boy here.
All right.
Oh, I'm scared.
One of mine and Robbie's favorites. It might
That's
be
why I'm scared.
our favorite. And I'm going with the track that just gets it all going. Starts off with some fantastic drums in the beginning, starts off
Damn
with
it.
some fantastic guitar playing, and starts off with the premier vocalist of the late 1980s, Paul Stanley. And I'm going with King of the Mountain.
I hate you. I hate you
Damn
so
it.
much because you and Troy back to back took my next 2 picks.
Just from the moment, like you drop the needle and it's just like, hi, I'm Eric Carr. Here I go. Like,
Wait, can you do that again?
no, you get one motorboat and that's it. So then you love the drums, and then you get an old come on. I love it. Love that.
You're the sound effect guy.
I am. I don't even need my soundboard that I have on my podcast.
Well,
I got my mouth. Hey, girl.
The guitars and the drums on that album, it's just like, especially that song, it's like, wow, these are some motherfuckers that can play, you know? And it kind of busted Kiss into this a different little realm of real tight and not crazy intricate, but a hell of a lot more intricate than a lot of the shit, you know?
Yeah, like even if you compare to, and it's not a shade at like what Michael picked, but like Lick It Up just a few years earlier, much more simple of a song structure compared to what they're busting out on this album. So
and that was Kulik, I'm guessing. Fucking hey guys, let's actually put some thought into the intro and the segues, and then an actual outro maybe, and let's do it was just the writing on that album was really fucking cool.
Yeah,
of course
and
they still have their simplistic stuff, but they delved a little bit deeper, I think, than what they've been doing previously.
I agree. I totally agree, and I think Bruce Kulick may be my favorite Kiss guitarist, and probably, I mean, he's super underrated. He really is.
Really good.
And that's going to bring us. Oh my God! Even when he's in Grand Funk now and all that stuff, like he's still absolutely incredible. It's just you don't hear enough about the guy. Like Kiss fans fawn over him and all that stuff, but he needs to be in the discussion for some of the greatest guitarists, I think.
And in the discussion as one of the greatest guests of the All Bets Are Off podcast with Robbie Vegas.
That's true. That's true. He's been
After
here.
me, of course.
He's been here twice, and I said, the only people who were better than you were Troy, Mike, and Michael and Chaz. I'm sorry, Bruce. I'm sorry.
Give you the $5 later.
Yeah, that I paid you guys to be here today, right?
That's right. Yeah.
He's been doing Grand Funk for a while now, right?
Long time.
20-something years.
We just did a gig on Friday in Oklahoma at this casino outside of Oklahoma City, and they're coming there, and I saw this poster with obviously Bruce and the rest of the guys, and I was thinking to myself, God, I knew he was doing that. It just seems like an odd pairing, right?
Yeah.
I can't really connect the dots there. I mean, it's cool. He's been doing it for years and years, right?
Yeah.
I have a hard time connecting the dots. Like,
I agree.
Yeah.
It just seems like a very different kind of feel from what I'd expect him to do.
Well, that's just because we're Kiss fans. I mean, before Kiss, you guys coming off of Blackjack with Michael Bolton, and he was playing with Meatloaf a little bit with his brother too. So like, he's well rounded. We think of him as like the metal guy, but like Bruce is really not a metal guy. He just kind of filled that era in Kiss because he was so talented.
Yeah,
is what it was.
That's true. I mean, listening to him on a Live 3, I would definitely call him the metal guy.
Right, but I mean, even just meeting him, and I met him before and talked to him. He's a classic rock guy. That's who he is. He's not a metal guy. He just filled it very well.
Michael, though, I agree. Who did Nuno back up for a little bit? Was like Rihanna?
Rihanna.
Yeah. And I thought, like, I mean, obviously Nuno could back up anybody and kill it, but at the same time, I thought, like, damn, and Rihanna being awesome, but it's like, man, she probably wouldn't want to share the spotlight with a dude who can like tear that much ass on a guitar.
That's fair. Rihanna does a lot of ass tearing herself, and
well, to be fair though, I mean, even when who was Nita Strauss just recently jamming with before she jumped back into Alice Cooper?
Oh, was like Nelly Furtado or something?
Yeah. Who was it?
Really?
Demi Lovato.
Demi
Demi
Lovato.
Lovato. Okay, yeah.
Damn.
That freaked me out. When I heard that, I was like, no.
You guys say
I think
that
she made
now.
the right choice going back to Cooper.
Yeah,
Right.
for sure.
You know what I mean?
that-
Like
yeah.
she fits that bill. She's fit it for a while. I understand like venturing out because that was an opportunity maybe to, you know, be in front of a different crowd, build more of a base, and maybe
Yeah.
get some writing credit somewhere.
Yeah.
But that was a weird move, right? Like when that came out, I was like, oh, that's different.
Yeah, it kind of when she and it didn't last long. Like all of a sudden, the announcement was that she was back with Alice, and I was like, "There it is. The world is right."
Well, as
Right.
opposed to Nuno. Nuno was, I think, is still with Rihanna. I think he was on the Super Bowl. He's been with her forever. Like, and you know what? He's making his paycheck, and he's back with Extreme now, so he's living the life.
Right.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. Well, who do we leave off at? Because we just went off on a tangent, and I don't know.
We're
All
going
right,
to
it's
Mike.
Mike.
Da, da, da. Well, I got to be honest. I was a little terrified, Chaz, when you started introing your last pick because I
Oh,
thought
no.
you were going to steal mine.
Oh,
Because
no.
mine is also from Asylum. Starts off with killer drums, and I chose it because I think it's shows more so than any other track how freaking awesome Eric Carr was, and that was the first song on side 2, the song "I'm Alive."
Great
Yeah.
choice.
Oh,
So
Yeah.
out. I mean, like the drums
Yeah.
are going absolutely batshit on that whole song, and
Yeah.
it's even like it's to get into to bore you guys with drum speak for a second. Like it's deceptive because if you're counting the song like 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, this first snare is on 2, but then the other toms are like on the end of 3 and the end of 4, so it's got like this weird syncopated feel that you really have to lock into. And then, you know, there's all these offbeat hits and all these accents and fills all over the place. Not to mention that, you know, most of Asylum is kind of like that, in that Eric Carr is really coming to his own as a rock drummer.
Right.
And so, yes, I'm going to go with the song that was originally titled Run for Your Life, and I'm going to go with I'm Alive.
Dude, I love it.
Awesome
I love
song.
Man.
that song. That song was like Paul Stanley was sitting there and he's like, you know what? I'm gonna write a Judas Priest song and make it better. That's what I felt like he said.
They had a thing, right? That tempo, it's kind of like Escape from the Island. It's not thrash, but it's like that faster driving, yeah, kind of hell bent for leather type of feel to it. And I thought like they did that just as well. They held their own without losing anything.
Love it.
agreed. And I feel like we could talk about Kiss all night, and that's why my next pick is all night.
Man,
The 3 Asylum.
3 Asylum tracks in a row. Yeah, nice.
Yep. Oh man, like this song is just fun. I mean, there's really not much you could say about it other than it's fun. You hear this song, you just bob your head, and it's just like it makes you feel good. You're like, of course we know what it's about because what are 98% of Kiss's songs about? So they stuck with the formula that works for them, and it was all night. And I specifically just love how there's this that little breakdown where they're just going woo. They're sitting in the and they're in the studio looking at each other, go, you know what the song needs? Just a bunch of
bunch of
and they all just looked at each other and went, yeah, fuck yeah, let's fucking do that. Yeah. So just out of having fun with their music and me having fun listening to their music, that had to go on my list. It just had to. And it has nothing to do with you guys snaking my next few picks like the bunch of assholes that you are. This is why I can't have Bruce on the show with you guys, because we're all a bunch of assholes and he's not.
Fair enough.
Robbie, I can't remember if I told you when we were on tour if we were talking about Kiss, because of course we did. But
Yes.
I remember like at one point I was a teenager and I had Asylum, and I was finding a couple of songs on those record really inspirational, particular the Gene song Trial by Fire, right? It's like it's all about, you know, living your life and you know, and persevering and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And my folks weren't really cool with a whole lot of metal at that point. So I'm just like, no, it's inspirational. Read the lyrics to Trial by Fire. It's like, it's awesome. And so she reads the lyrics and she goes, okay. Well, she goes, I'd like to read the lyrics for the rest of the record. I'm like, no, you don't have to do that. No, let me just get that from you. But she like grabbed it and like, she's going to read all night. Oh God. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
in trouble.
Yep.
That's funny because You mentioned Betrayal by Fire. You mentioned Trial by Fire. When I back in my emo days, when I was in my like emo bands, I was kind of inspired by that song. And there was like this phase in the emo days of like having like weird song titles or things that just went together, parentheticals and things like that. So
Right.
like
Ooh.
I wrote a song about betrayal, and it was kind of like also like it was a trial by fire. So I called it like B Trial by Fire. It was so lame, but it was totally a nod to Kiss. It was parenthetical B Trial by Fire. Stupid, I know, but it
And
was.
everybody that saw it was like, I don't get
I
it.
don't get it. No, it was the emo days. They're like, cool, yeah. I'm gonna get some eyeliner. I'll be right back. Ah,
I still wear eyeliner. Whatever.
you guys all probably do. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hey, wait. Yeah, what the hell, bro?
You guys
Yeah.
are the emo kids. It's all good.
All right. So I guess that brings us to Michael for 2 picks.
Oh, I get 2 again?
Yep.
All right, cool. So my next pick, I'm going to go with Analyze and Heaven's on Fire.
Nice.
Nice.
And I feel like you guys have some really cool, like deep cuts. I feel like mine are a little more like low hanging fruit, right? But it hits me as like when I hear these songs as a kid, man, when I heard those lyrics, Burn With Me, Heaven's on Fire. I was thinking, oh, what is he talking about? Like I thought that was just like so crazy. Yeah, whatever. 10, 11-year-old kid, like, putting the needle on the album and listening to it. And I was just mesmerized. It just sounded so, it wasn't like dark, but it was just like, wow, like the imagery of just the lyrics, and just, it's not complicated. It's not rocket science. It's just cool. And that verse in the pocket, it's just so staccato and like, I don't know. There's just something rhythmically that I just love about that feel. And it's probably just, of course, nostalgic for me, because these are all the things that got me to play guitar as a kid. So when I hear that, I go, it's not like a weird deep cut track, but it's like just one of those songs that just takes me right back,
Oh, that's a great pick. You can't go wrong with that. And as soon as you said it, the first thing that I heard in my head was, here's the song. Y'all don't know this one by the beginning. The song's about the beginning where you go, oh yeah,
I know that one. Actually, it's funny to say, because I thought that was probably the big standout for me on Alive 3 was Heaven's on Fire. Like when they break it down, and instead of like the actual chorus, they get the bridge, right? They go, whoa,
Yeah.
and they get the crowd to sing that. I'm a sucker anytime anybody does that, with an audience, and it's so good.
And
That one
everyone
it was on my list.
Everyone's failed to mention the incredible vocal intro on the piece.
Oh, woo!
Yeah.
That's so quintessentially Paul, though, right?
Yes.
Totally.
Like you hear that and you're just like, that's just so him.
And
Like nobody else can pull that off and keep a straight face.
Well, rumor has it that's just him in the studio warming up his vocals, and they're just like, "Fuck it, put it on."
Yeah,
right.
Like that Eddie Murphy line where he goes, "I need a lyric here." Hey, that's good. It's like we need an intro. Whoa! Oh yeah, keep it done.
Yep. That was on my
song.
list. Like, that's a great tune. Like it doesn't even I don't care deep cut or not. Like that is just such a great song. Yeah. And now you're kicking off the next round, Michael. You're up again.
So I was kind of like split between 2 for my next pick, but I think I'm gonna go back to Lick It Up and choose All Hell's Breaking Loose.
Oh no!
Oh, you got me.
Damn it!
Because I'm telling you, man, there's something about there's the bass line there. It's just pulsing. You know what I mean? And there's just
Big
something
time.
that just, I don't know. It's just love it.
Just makes your head move.
It's just it's simplistic genius, and it just works. And that's my vote. It just works.
Street talker comes up to me late at night when I'm walking down the street, minding my own business.
And he looks me up and he looks me down. He's a hey man. The Kiss rap song. But
it is, but like, Paul Stanley's just like delivery and his like I don't know, exuberance, just
attitude.
himself. He put such a charm on it that none of us could replicate, no matter how hard we tried.
Yeah.
I figured like someone would probably take Torpedo Girl, but Michael, that was flat out Grand Theft. Because that was
Sorry,
gonna be my next one. Because and
Mine
forget about
too.
forget
actually,
about the
damn it.
horrible video for a second, but just that riff, is just, it's got
Yeah.
such a swing and a swagger to it. Like it's so
Big
good. Just
time.
the riff on its own is
Pretty sure that's an
deserving.
Eric Carr riff.
I believe that's correct. He is
Yeah.
credited with
wow.
writing that song. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I wrote a thing one time. I said, like, I wonder what, like, just, because, we can all do it, he looks me up and he looks me down. And we could, I said, like, I wonder what that would sound like during the Renaissance,
Mhm.
Or like if with a, like, Shakespearean delivery. He might say, a vagabond from the more destitute portion of the municipality converged upon me while I happened to be promenading on the thoroughfare, sequestered to my own personal affairs. The transient inspected my attire in an ascending motion, then contemplated my regalia in a descending gesticulation. He inquired, "Can you divulge the justification behind this particular fragment of your personalized garments? And please advise me as to the rationale with which you favored this particular aspect of your vestments. As you might surmise, I merely scrutinized this simpleton and cachinnated unobtrusively. I reciprocated, modern society perceives my style to be dandy, and I remain a pacifying zephyr in deepest summer."
I'm telling you this right now. First of all, that was impressive. I don't know if it's written down in front of you,
Oh, it is.
I hope.
Everyone's giving him the round.
but that when I promote this episode, I'm just taking that. just that. And
tell you
nobody's
what.
gonna hear anything but that, and they're gonna go, I don't know what they're doing, but I'm gonna fucking listen to that.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a YouTube Shorts out of that for you.
You
Actually,
overachiever, Mike.
I put that up on my Facebook. I think like a year and a half or 2 years ago, like just to see if anyone, without explanation, just to see if anyone knew what that was. And like I think 2 people knew that I was referencing All Hell's Breaking Loose. And I was,
Damn it.
See,
well done.
Mike must have not have read the contract where I'm supposed to be the funny one of the show.
Oh, yes, yeah.
I need you to
Right,
reel
right.
it in a little bit, bud.
Hang on, let me kick him out real quick. Hang on.
I'm fired from that.
So I guess that brings it back to me, and oh, there he goes. Mike's gone. I picked a song so mind you, my next few picks are already gone. So, but this next one might throw you guys off. It's very, very 80s sounding song. I love it. It's off of Crazy Nights.
I know where
And
you're
I'm
going.
Do you?
I think so. Yeah.
Turn on the Night.
Yep.
Yeah. This song is so fun. You want to talk about 80s? This is a fucking 80s song. When you listen to this, you're like, oh yeah, these guys were definitely just on that 80s anthem train, that's what they wanted this song to be, was an 80s anthem. Turn on the Night was exactly what that was supposed to be. And to me it is, but I'm sure to other people it's not. But I absolutely love this track. And I'm curious to hear what all of you think about it actually.
Fire below.
When you said it's 80s, I thought you were gonna go with My Way because like it's just so like massive keyboard heavy. But no, I
Yeah.
agree. They did a video for it. It's like I thought that should have been way bigger because just those huge melodic gang vocals, like that song was absolutely killer.
Well, this is keyboard heavy too, man. I can't even think of the
Sure.
guitar. All I hear is the piano, and I can think of like Bruce does rip something at the end of it, but like
Yes.
Yeah,
I just think of the piano the keyboard the whole time, and not in like a bar way. It's perfectly 80s, like Robby said.
What kind of way?
Shh.
Well, Michael, what do you think? Turn on the Night.
What do I think?
Yeah.
I think it's a good pick, and I didn't know that Diane Warren was credited for that song with Paul Stanley. Apparently,
Mhm.
Jeez.
Mhm.
I mean Diane Warren. I wouldn't think that would be a combination with, but I guess
Right. I mean, it's kind of what we were saying earlier about War Machine. Like, there's just these weird combos.
Yeah, really, really weird. Like, really cool, right? Like, who would have thought? Brian
Well,
Adams. Who would have
because
thought?
the harder rock, the metal bands were trying to breach the pop world, so they're calling on Brian Adams, Diane Warren. They're calling on
Like Desmond Child, I get,
Desmond Child.
right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Desmond Child makes perfect sense. Yeah, that just kind of threw me. Those two, Brian Adams, and then with your pick, Diane Warren. It's like,
Mhm.
oh, okay, didn't know that. But
And they're
cool.
and they're both fantastic songs. So it worked, you know.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to Mike for your second to last pick until we convince Robby to go another round.
Is it second to last, or is this last?
Second to last for now.
Yeah, for now
Okay.
we'll see. Because I mean, I'm gonna see how you guys all feel after this. So.
Okay. I'm Michael stole my next pick, so I'm going to go with the next one down the list after that. I'm going to go back to Creatures for a second, and we were just talking about it. It's the other one. I don't know what it is. I just really loved this song. I think it's really haunting and ridiculously heavy, but also moody in a way that they hadn't really made standard just yet. It's the other one off of Creatures that Gene co-wrote with Brian Adams, and it's the song Rock and Roll Hell.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
go back and listen to that knowing it's a Brian Adams song, and you will hear it exactly like a Brian Adams song.
Wow.
Just, the phrasing of the verses, been under fire 16 years, and the bass line is just kind of like thumps along with the low toms. It's great, and always loved it. It's phrased like it's a pop hit structure, right? Because it's got that tiny little bridge before it goes into a catchy chorus, and I just always loved that song. Another one that I thought never got the attention it deserved. Especially
I knew that's
the Brian Adams part.
I knew that's where you were going as soon as you started, and I love that song. It was on my list also, but oh my God, what a great tune.
And he's definitely screaming his face off in parts of that song too.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, man.
Was that the song that I'm pretty sure Ace Frehley also covered that, right?
Yes, he did. I think it's on one of his
Origins Volume 1.
Origins. Yeah.
So everyone was like, "What? Why is he covering a Kiss song that he's not a part of?" Technically,
I mean, didn't he do that? He also did that with Hide Your Heart. So
right,
it's true.
Right.
It's very true. And
we'll talk about that next podcast.
I just want to point out that Ace just got mad at you because you had a Kiss record standing up behind you that just fell over when you were talking shit.
Nobody needs to know that happened.
Oh.
They went down.
The ghosts are back.
Shut up.
Shut up.
All right. Well, we're gonna go to my pick now, and I'm gonna convince Robby to go another round because there's still a million songs that I want here. But I'm gonna be the first one and possibly the only one to go off of this bad boy here.
Ooh, I know what you're picking.
We are going off Killers. We are going off the track that kicks off side 2. We're going off with, I think, one of, if not the most underrated Kiss Paul Stanley song, and that's Nowhere to Run.
Every time you pick a Paul song, you sing it every time.
Yeah, because that's my boy. I love the song. I still don't know how it's not a hit. I don't know how they've never dove into it again, brought it back for anything. I know it was kind of on this like greatest hits / new song album that was literally just like, shit, we need to put something out. Here's 4 songs I wrote. Because they're all Paul songs. They're all Paul songs. No Gene input whatsoever. And Nowhere to Run is just fucking amazing and fantastic. And it's probably a top 10 Kiss song for me, honestly. So.
All right. Well, before we move to Troy, since Chaz keeps bringing it up repeatedly, how much time do you guys have if we were to go some extra rounds? Everybody good?
Do an extra round. Yeah.
Extra round will cost us another like 10 minutes, right?
What do you think, Michael?
Well, I was gonna say I got one more I can throw out for you, and then depending on where we're at with time,
Okay. Well, let's get back to Michael, and then we'll make the decision.
All right. So Mike's got a little wait here. So.
All right, Troy, hit us.
All right.
I believe you have 2.
I know. Yes, yes. All right, let's go with 222 off of. I'll go from music from the Elder and
Oh.
Mr. Blackwell.
Wow.
Nice.
All
I
right.
liked it. That song reminds me of something that like would be a track on Gene's solo album or some shit like that.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It had that feel to it. It was like funky old Kiss sounding shit. I don't know. I just got off to that song. I just listened to that yesterday and I was like, this is a fucking cool song, man.
You
Yeah,
know,
It's a weird.
it's funny. It's funny that you should say it sounds like it could go on Gene's solo album because his solo album would have benefited from a song like this because
Yes.
his solo album was so bad.
Yes.
Oh, come on.
This
If
is
they-
also
If this song was on, you're right. If this song was on Gene's solo album, it's the best song easily.
Right.
Yeah.
It just had a really cool fucking vibe that just reminds me of old Gene. You know
Well,
what I
'cause
mean?
The
Mhm.
sound of his bass and it sounds like his like bass solo.
Right.
this may be one of the only podcasts out there that gives this much love to the Elder.
Yeah, true.
That's right. Yeah. I love that one too. It always reminded me of like something like off of Welcome to My Nightmare, like that funky poppy, almost like borderline show tune, with catchiness to it, but with that Gene still playing just a different version of the whole evil character thing. And 'cause
Right.
who was Mr. Blackwell in the story? We don't know, but whoever he was kind of a unlikable bastard. So I like that pick too.
Yeah, that was a
Alright.
good. That one just really, when I was listening back through the albums, that one just kind of stuck out to me pretty good. It's just a
Mhm.
solid song. I like it.
Yeah, absolutely. And now you're up again.
For
All right.
possibly your last song, but probably not.
Let's do. I'll do a Paul song. Who Wants to Be Lonely?
Nice.
Oh, you fucking dick.
Yeah, exactly. Who wants to be lonely?
See, I'm not the only one.
that was a very poppy sort of fucking hit song, and that just reminds me of growing up and shit like that too. Very nostalgic for me. But
What I love about that song is Paul had this thing about his guitar playing, his writing in the 80s where like his riffage, his riffs or his chords were very singy by themselves.
Mhm.
right,
Just the way he would change and slide from like D to E, like and stuff like that. And like so that song, like he just mimics it, like with the whoa parts. Whoa, whoa. Like he's just following what he's playing on guitar, and it really like brings it out. And I love it. I absolutely love that.
right.
Yep.
It's a nice breakdown in the song too, and Paul gets to fucking use his goddamn voice like a son of a bitch. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
Fucking voice soloing.
He
Yeah.
gives a nice huh in that one too.
He covers all
Well,
the bases.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, right. In case you couldn't tell by my reaction, good pick.
Sorry, buddy. I'm knocking your list of shit, aren't I?
Yeah. Yep. All right, we're coming back to you, Chester.
Well, I changed my pick last minute because I want to get this one before I get the next one because I'm going to convince Robby to do another round or 7. So even if Michael's got to leave, that's okay. We'll just go me and Robby till like 2 a.m.
No, I'm gonna hang up.
We're going on this one here. We're going with Animalize. True story. Up until about 5 years ago, I always thought there was a D at the end. I thought it was Animalized, but it's Animalize. And one of the worst Kiss album covers of all time, I would have to say. But
That's just Paul Pants.
the back is all right. But we're gonna go with the song that kicks off the album as well. That is actually 3 kickoffs. Actually, 4 of my 5 are the first tracks on the album because it's always a Paul song, and he always brings it. And we're going with "I've Had Enough."
All right.
I can't sing it. Nothing and no one is stopping me now.
Excellent.
I love it. I just great riff too. It's like another thing. Like, yeah, I'm gonna write a speed metal song, guys. Let's go. Mark St. John, do
Mark
something.
St. John, do this.
Yeah, fine. It's good, bro. All right, we're good. So I've had enough Into the Fire. 4 out of 5 track 1. So that's weird, but I love it.
All right, cool. I
There's
mean,
good
killer
music
pick.
on that album, man.
Yeah, dude. It's underrated. It's not the best. They're in a they,
No.
they're in a weird spot, but like there is moments that I love on that album.
Right, absolutely. That was my first I hate to say it, but that was my first Kiss live concert.
It's great, man.
Oh wow.
Nice.
You got
I
to
never
saw
got to see it with makeup originally. I fucking shattered for my life, but
see, I never got to see them without makeup ever. So
oh, fair enough, fair enough.
got that.
Same.
'Cause I didn't see them until 96. So
Same.
Damn,
Well, we're on mic now.
All right.
what you got, Mikey?
Well, again, perfect segue because talking about seeing that tour live in concert is kind of the reason I'm picking the next one that I do.
Damn
That I did what grammar
I'm going
drummer talk. And the reason because like the record version is so awesome, but when they did it live on Animalized Live Uncensored, they handed the vocals over to one Eric Carr, and that's Young and Wasted
nice.
off of
Nice.
Lick It Up. But and I guess I got to put out and say, you know, the live version because, you know, those rat bastards made him sing that right after his drum solo. Dude's out of breath and like, okay, now you're gonna sing and play this like, you know, ridiculously driving song because it's kind of in that vibe of like into the I've had enough Into the Fire, right? Like it's that driving and live, you know, translates another, you know, killer riff, and on the record, you know, another vicious performance by Gene. That makes it my next pick.
Hell yeah.
All
Very
right.
nice.
Hell yeah.
Good choice. Solid pick. Always with the live versions with you. Always with the live versions.
Yep,
But the studio version stands well on
It
its
does.
own.
It does.
It does,
Yeah.
yeah.
agreed.
Well, that brings me next. Okay, so I was debating between a couple here because I don't know how many, if we're going to do one more or two more. So I'm just going to go with my original idea and go with Murder in High Heels.
She's
damn.
murder.
Yeah, I just dig that tune, man. There's just something about it that gets my blood pumping, and I'm all for that. So I use that a lot when I'm like posting clips and stuff of my wrestling. Murder in High Heels just seems to just fit that mold.
For when you're wearing high heels in the ring.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, I just wear fancy leggings, don't I?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
true.
well, you know, come
Okay,
on,
to be fair, we all do.
oversimplification. Yeah, oversimplification, buddy. You know?
Yeah. To be fair, we all wear fancy leggings sometimes.
And
At
eyeliner.
some point, yeah.
But yes, murder in high heels, not my heels, but high heels
You've never done that.
for my fifth pick.
All right, so technically we're moving on to Michael for one, but he could kick off the second round, and if he's got to go, then he's good. So
Yeah, you could pick two.
I got one more for you.
Okay.
Before I have to split. And of course, I'm going to be Captain Obvious, right? So I'm going to go back to Crazy Nights, first track, Crazy Nights.
Nice.
Yes.
And here's my question. The reason why I think I picked this one, outside of the fact that it's, again, nostalgic, it's anthematic, it just reminds me of quintessential 80s Kiss,
Correct.
is, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the song, it's, these are crazy, 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 crazy nights, right?
Right. Yes.
That's 4. Okay. Now on the track listing, it's just crazy, crazy nights.
Correct.
And the album
Correct.
is just Crazy Nights.
And yeah.
What's the hidden message there? That's what I want to know, fellas.
Is this conspiracy?
So conspiracy theory.
Conspiracy.
So I think the night continues to get crazier as you go along, right? You buy the record, you're like, this is going to be a crazy night. Then you look at the track listing and you're like, I think it gets a little crazier because we're doubling up. And then when you listen to it, you're like, oh, we're doubling up. And now we got 4. Somebody is in for a wild ride here.
Going off the rails.
That's right. That's
Somebody's drinking Windex in the basement right now.
right. Oh boy. Oh boy. True story that happened at a
True
party that I threw.
story.
We're gonna We'll tell that another time. But I do have to say that was my next pick if we were going to go another round. So
Well,
yeah, that's
I mean, if Michael's got to leave us and the other boys want to go another round, if he's not offended, we could leave his at 5 and we can go more.
Michael. What do you think? Is it cool if we go another round without you?
Of course.
Awesome.
All right, then we're going
Appreciate
6
the
for
time and, enjoy the last round, fellas. I appreciate it. It's good to hang out and talk to you guys.
Nice to meet you, Mike.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You too, brother.
Good to see
All
you,
right, guys.
Michael.
Take care.
All right, man. See you
Bye.
later.
Until we
Bye-bye.
do the 90s kiss.
Yes,
Yes.
90s and
Still,
beyond.
90s
I'm
and-
still bummed Hot in the Shade wasn't in the mix for today. So
We got it next time. 89 and beyond.
all right.
Yes.
Sounds good. That's a deal.
All right,
guys.
take care, man.
Okay. See
See you
man.
guys.
Later, Michael.
All right, so we got 5 more rounds. Let's go.
So, yeah. All right, so I'm kicking us off here.
Well,
he did take.
let me throw out Michael's list now that he's gone. He said
Oh, sure.
he's very he's, and I can tell by the way he talks, he's into songwriting and he's into hits and stuff like that. Nothing wrong
Yep.
with that. Took I Love It Loud, Lick It Up, Heaven's on Fire, All Hell's Breaking Loose, and Crazy Nights.
Those are great picks. You can't go wrong with any of those.
No, good
I-
songs.
yeah, and then every single one of those was on my list too. So really, you can't really,
Well, let's make it official. We're down to us 4. We should be able to flow through this quickly. Can everybody do 2 more?
Okay.
Okay. Good.
Okay.
2 more?
Mike, I'm sure Mike can do 37 more.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
So can me and Robby probably.
Well, I still got a bunch here, so let's see.
And for Troy saying he had to do some research, man's on fire, by the way.
Yeah, I know.
Thank you.
Damn. Okay. Number 6 for me is going to be Thrills in the Night.
Oh, you
that's where I'm
bitch!
going.
Nice.
Nice.
That's where I'm going. Yeah. Again,
This-
just another just awesome, fun track. Like I feel. Go ahead, Jess.
Could be the best song on the album, like objectively.
It could be. It honestly could be. I feel like we say a lot of the same stuff when we talk about some of these tracks. We're always like, they're fun and this guitar riff and this bass riff, but Kiss was just that good and that fun. So it's like, how do you say anything else? Like for non-Kiss fans, they're probably like, of course it is. But for all the Kiss fans that listen all the way through these drafts, they're going, yeah, definitely.
Right.
And it's
But-
easily, I think, and I'm sure all you guys can agree if you're familiar with it, the best guitar stuff that Mark St. John ever did.
I think so.
There's
think so.
actually melody to it. Like
Right.
it's not just check out this insane, classical guitar run I know, which is great, which is
Right.
hard to do.
Yeah.
I get it. I can't even come close. But to play with a little bit of feeling and still like merge some of that classical stuff into it, fantastic song. One of my favorites of all time. I love the words. Paul Stanley's painting a picture,
Mhm.
the
Right.
whole time with it. I love it.
All right, then I guess I picked a good one, and now we're going to jump back to Mike.
No, but just on a segue there, another great unorthodox style performance from Eric Carr on that one. In that, like there's not a whole lot of snare drum for as poppy
Tom.
as the song is. Like it actually is playing a middle low tom as the backbeat through most of that track, and
Mhm.
it just kind of. It's like Don't Stop Believing. It's like if you were to play it normally, you'd notice like something's not right. Like it adds to it.
And
That's
actually,
the
the
mystery.
rhythm of the verse is odd. The way like they accent things and stuff like that. It's
Mhm.
really cool. It's a really well written song.
Mhm.
Agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
What is it? Me? Is it my pick
Yes.
again?
Yeah.
Okay. We're doing 2 more. Is
Was that
right?
your Gene Simmons impression there?
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh,
2 more.
yeah. Ooh, yeah. Okay. Okay.
I'm like
gonna
Oscar the Grouch there for a second.
Kiss fan you are.
Yoda.
We had so I'm gonna go with let's put the X. No, I'm kidding.
Oh,
It'd be like, oh God, no.
what's wrong with that?
Actually, I saw someone had posted a picture of a friend of mine. I can't remember who it was. It posted a picture of them and Chris Jericho, and Chris Jericho was in white leather pants and a chainmail tank top with a black cross on the and like the feather earring, and I'm like, oh man, it's from the
yeah.
You Make Me
Yep.
Rock Hard video. It's like that's
Yep.
friggin' awesome. But my next pick was gonna go another kind of left field one, and one that I never hear anywhere, spoken of or otherwise, off of Crazy Nights. But it was a Gene song that, again, haunting. I always thought was really cool, and it's the song "Good Girl Gone Bad."
Mm.
Kind of subdued. He's not really screaming his ass off on this one, but again, just kind of adds to it, and kind of not unlike it's Thrills in the Night, kind of like paints the picture, but it just always like the mood. And Bruce Kulick, another like fantastic guitar track on that one. So yeah,
Yeah.
Good Girl Gone Bad.
And he screams a little in that, and that's one of the only like 80s Gene songs I can think of where you can actually hear Paul in it as well, with the "come on," like
Yeah.
they really are together in that. And like we mentioned in the last episode, they lost that in the 80s. They lost their
Yeah.
like,
Right.
tag team, you know.
Sure. It was
No, that
Paul
was- that-
dominated heavily.
I will say I didn't foreshadow that one being picked, so that was cool.
Oh, we're to
And
me for my second last one now. Now I'm gonna hit up. Sorry, this one.
I know what you're picking.
We're going. You think because of my run, but I'm not going the first song for once.
No, that's not what I was going to say.
Oh, you do know what I'm picking. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me preface, then you can name the song. One guess, Mike. Who sings the song I'm about to pick?
I'm betting it's a Gene song.
No, I'm sorry. You're wrong. It is a Vinny. No, it is a Paul Stanley. What should have been a classic, which should have been a single off the album, what should have been the single off the album, which I was very happy to see that he brought back for his solo tour. And Robby, what is it?
I had this completely wrong. You tell me.
Okay, we're going with $1 Million to One.
Yep.
I thought you were going. I thought you were going
Agreed.
and on the 8th day.
No, God no. See what I did there? God no. But $1 Million to One, like another insane vocal performance. There's someone better than me. Like he's just another like song of like despair and heartbreak, but more like getting over and vengeful heartbreak, I guess you could say. And well written and just awesome. And I just love the dynamics of it. Chug, 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 chug. And his voice, like, I just don't understand how this was never a single, especially through the 80s, and how they never brought it back. It took him to what, 2006 solo tour to like put it in, and that Live to Win or One Live Kiss DVD of Paul Stanley doing it with that backing band he had. Fan-fucking-tastic. So $1 Million to One is another top 10 song for me, and I'm happy to have it on the team.
All right. Well-
Agreed on all counts. It's like it's that middle finger love despair. Like
Yeah.
like you're talking. Yeah, absolutely.
So I was so happy. I was going to take that last round, but I knew that this was coming back, so I'm happy to get it.
Well, I think Troy is going to take us home with his final 2 picks, and I think the good
All right.
segue, the best segue from that song to Troy's first pick, Shandy, is no. I'm kidding.
What a great song.
Yeah, if you're an Australian.
Yeah. God fucking hell. Oh, Paul, I love you, but god damn it, man.
You leave Uncle Paul alone.
I love him with all my heart. I absolutely do, but fuck, man.
That was one of the greatest reactions to Shandy that I've ever heard. I love you, Paul, but fuck, man.
Great.
All right, I guess I'm gonna. Let's see. All right, last one of 2. I'm gonna go Asylum, and I'm gonna go with fucking Tears Are Falling.
Nice.
Sure.
Bitch.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy. That's just that makes me think of fucking 1985 and fucking being however old I was at that point. I won't say.
2.
But two, yeah, 2, 1.5. Yeah.
Yeah.
Went to the liquor store to get that. No,
Me and Robby weren't
There's
bored,
this-
but going on.
yeah, that's just a song that's gonna quintessential Kiss. It's got all the elements of a hit song, and it's just a good song all around, man.
I
Paul
feel
sounds great.
I feel if Michael would have did round 6, that would have been his pick.
Probably.
You know,
Probably right. Yep.
that song was the first. You know how when you first hear a record, you always gravitate to one song,
Right.
at least at first, over and over again. That was that for me. When I first heard Asylum, it was, oh, well, this is the best track on this. And obviously,
Right.
like the more you listen to it, you start changing your mind, and then you come back to it, and then you change your mind, and then you come back to it. But
Right.
that song always stands out.
Yeah, it does, and it's just great little, dance and dance. I remember
Mhm.
being at the fucking arcade at the mall, and that shit's fucking playing in the arcade, and it's just like, fuck yeah, man, Kiss, shit.
Yeah, when you were 2.
Yes, when I was 2.
Yeah.
Playing,
I was,
playing
I was,
Frogger
I was,
sitting on the high chair.
yeah, I was old for my age. It's a very
Um,
mature 2-year-old.
Probably
Of
a
course.
top 3, if not a top 1 Bruce Kulick guitar solo in that song.
It
Yeah,
was
dude.
great, man. Just killer class.
Yeah.
It was
well
classy.
written solo. The way he slides into it, the way he just like pulls off the fire at the end of it. It's just such a great song. Such an underrated era from Kiss. Like as fun as we had with the 70s draft, this is like 10 times more fun for me. Like I just love it.
I don't know.
Well,
I'm
this
pretty
isn't-
equal. Like I the 90s and beyond, I'm still going to be the same level that I'm at right now. I just love all of this.
All right, so you're going to start off the final
right,
round.
final
Troy. What is
one.
your final
All right.
pick?
I am between a couple, man. But I think, god dang, I think I'm gonna go with, and just because it's another anthemish sort of, and I'm gonna keep on with the trend of giving this album love that fucking it doesn't ever receive. The Elder again with I.
Okay.
Sure.
Oh wow. We're getting Elder definitely gets more love on this podcast than anywhere else ever.
It was technically
know,
a
it's-
single, right? It was a single, I believe.
It was a
Yeah.
single.
And it's just there's a couple of things on that album that I'm not, as far as Paul's vocal wise, I didn't
Be nice to
particularly.
Uncle Paul.
I am, I love Paul. It's just a lot of the things on the Elder I prefer Gene songs, but that's how I am.
That's you in
But-
general.
Yeah.
So you're saying
Yeah,
you don't
he's-
like Odyssey?
He's a Gene guy, and the rest of us, put our Pauls to the wall.
Yeah,
Well, I agree.
it's just I was a solid song. I thought, you know what I mean, and very
Tag-
positive,
a
a
tag
positive
team?
song,
A tag team again.
right?
The tag team, Paul and Gene, the tag team champions. Probably the
Yeah.
last tag team of the 80s, that song
Right,
for them.
Yeah.
And very inspirational. And
right.
the problem, I guess I don't want to say problem, but like it's so inspirational. It's getting on the point of cheesy for that song. Just like it's
Exactly.
Well,
It's
they
teetering heavily.
yeah.
yeah, they do that with a few of their 80s tracks, and probably more than any of us would ever admit. But there's a few 80s tracks with Kiss where you're like almost cheesy, but still great.
I mean, so that means, from an honest perspective, that it's really fucking cheesy if we're saying that it's almost cheesy, right?
Yeah.
Right. Right, because we're gonna sugarcoat it and be like,
Yeah.
well, there's a lot going on internally with the band at the time, and
They're
Mike, do
trying
you
to
like the
figure
drums
themselves
in it?
out, find themselves.
Do you like the drums and I? Because there's always something about that intro little drum fill that I don't know if I loved or liked. There's something about the snare sound that bothered me always, and I just wanted to get your take on it.
Sure. I think that I'm guessing that's Eric Carr. I know Eric Carr didn't play on the whole record.
Right.
But I think they were just going for like the big fat sound. They're like, okay, we're going to try and, beef this up a little bit, but they hadn't gotten, it was going to be another record before they were going to get to the massive drum sound on Creatures. But Eric Carr definitely sounded like he was having fun on that one. And I think, the big standout of that is, the gigantic collaboration vocally between Paul and Gene that we didn't really see since Shout It Out Loud.
Yeah.
And that was a big fun one.
Okay, so we're going with my final pick.
yeah,
Final pick.
And talk about love for an album that's surprising. But I'm going for my
Okay.
second track off of Unmasked.
All right.
And
Masked.
I'm torn between two So it's tough. But I'm gonna go with a song that's never talked about, ever, 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 and that is "Tomorrow."
No,
Mm.
no,
Got him!
no.
Got him! Got him!
He knew it. As soon as you held up Unmasked, he made a face, and I was like, "Uh-oh."
He's like, no.
Oh, I guess I picked the right one. I just think like
Ah.
"Tomorrow" was a song that even me, a big Kiss fan, who listened to Unmasked, a few times in my life, just didn't even remember, And then when I like bought this vinyl in 2014, I think it came out, and put it on and listened to it again, I was like, when it came out, I was like, what song is this? Like, I literally, I had to like look at and be like, "Tomorrow," I don't remember this song. Like, it's such a pop song, but it's really well written, and it's just like, I just love it. I love "Tomorrow." And it's like, I wouldn't say it's a top 10 Kiss song for me, but it's probably in the top 20. And I just wanted to give it some love.
Right.
And the other song I would have picked off of there, I guess I'll hold off just in case Mike wants to hit it, even though he's pouting over here now. He just had a tantrum and he's pouting. And Mike, why would you have drafted "Tomorrow"?
What? Why would I not?
Why would have you drafted if you
Why?
were?
Oh, I was gonna say, that's why I was pissed. That was gonna be my take. Mainly because it has, as we were just talking about, the Paul Stanley aspect of 1,000,000 to 1 with the thumps and with the kind of middle finger, revenge, not the album Revenge, but like that post breakup, kind of like heartbreak. Whereas "Tomorrow" is the exact opposite. It's the hopeful love, and it's so positive, but still has like those the chugs to it with the cool guitar riff at the very beginning, and just it's with a fishhook sized vocal line, because you can't hear that, and it like it or hate it, you just walk away going, "Tomorrow we're gonna fall in love," because it's like, what's the lyrics to the chorus? "Tomorrow we're gonna fall in love." That's it, done.
And then, and
so
you know
good.
what? Given like thinking about it, it sounds thin just because of it's Unmasked, right? And that's what it is. If they
Right.
took it exactly the way it was, the poppiness and put it with Michael James Jackson on "Creatures of the Night," I think it would be way better received. I mean, it will still have
Yeah.
that poppy edge that doesn't necessarily fit on "Creatures of the Night," but if it had that like harder guitar sound, because the guitar on "Tomorrow" specifically, I think I can mimic it perfectly. It's like chug, 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 chug. There's nothing behind it. There's nothing. There's no balls. There's
Not much
nothing.
substance. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just it's not good sound distortion or anything. And to have it, to like just picture it how it could have been, or when I plug in my amp and just play the riffs, it's so much better. But as it is, though, I still love it. So "Tomorrow," and you guys aren't talking much about it. Are you just not familiar as much, Robbie?
Actually, it's on my list.
Oh, is it?
I wasn't sure what I was going to go with for my last pick, so I was kind of scrolling up and down, and you made it a little easier for me, but it did make my list. And I know you said what'd you say, it was unpopular because it was on Unmasked, but I feel like in recent years Unmasked gets more love than it used to.
Yeah.
So maybe at one point in time I'd say unpopular, but I don't think so anymore.
Well, what I mean by it is like, yeah, Unmasked is getting love, but I just feel like that's one of the songs that still isn't from Unmasked.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I'll give you that. All right, so I mean, we're up to Mike again for his last pick that is now gone.
That has now got. I was like,
Well, are you
better not.
taking an Unmasked song, Mike, just before you make it?
If I'm gonna be honest, no. Although I love Unmasked as well. There's so much undiscovered treasure as far as I'm concerned. Like, even seeing the titles as a kid, I was like, what the hell? It's like, and then like actually listening to "She's So European," I was like, this is awesome. Like, it just,
Oh yeah.
Well, the reason I asked, and then Robbie, are you going to take an Unmasked one or no?
No.
Okay, because the other one I was going to take, if I didn't, I guess Snake Mike, was "Easy as It Seems." So I love how that's got that like disco-y feel, and Paul Stanley hits those really high falsettos. But I think those are I think those are two standout tracks on Unmasked, along with the one I took, Naked City. But sorry, I just wanted to throw that out there since no one's taken it. "Easy as It Seems" was close to being on my list.
Not Talk to Me? No?
No, no, I do like Ace's songs, but I'm just always more of a Paul guy, So
Right.
Yep. So I guess then, where are
Mike's
you
gotta
going with
take
this,
his
Mike?
final song.
Well, yeah, since I just got snaked again, and had really high hopes for tomorrow, and laughing because like when I was a little kid, like buying these records, it never occurred to me that two songs could have the exact same words in the title and be different songs. So I thought like I looked at the record and just picturing Paul going, "The sun'll come out tomorrow." Like, really? They're gonna do that one?
Crushed it, bro.
Because Gene had already done "When You Wish Upon a Star" on his
Right.
freaking solo record. I
Not
thought
a far stretch. Yeah.
God, they're doing
Right.
this. What's happened? Anyway, but
I just want to segue that with in like when I was a junior in high school, I was in the drama club and we did Annie and I was the president and I had to sing that solo. So I had to get up there and sing it. So thanks, Mike.
I want footage, and I'm sure it was awesome. But no, I was gonna shock you guys and go on a mountain high somewhere where only heroes dare stand the stallion but I'm not gonna do
Odyssey. Oh my God.
Yeah, no, not gonna pick Odyssey, even though it's just so cheesy and like they tried to make it epic like at the end and it didn't quite fly. But no,
Yeah, it was God
I
awful.
I gotta be honest with myself and go with like when the old tunes come up on shuffle, a tune that I just love and never skip because there's a few pretty unorthodox things in there for being a quote unquote straight ahead rocker. Going back to Animalize. And another Gene song, and that's the song "Lonely Is the Hunter."
There's the hunter. Yeah.
It's kind of weird. And first, like once I actually like tried to figure out the riff on guitar, it's like, if you play "Nothing Else Matters" by Metallica, the first notes you don't even need the left hand; you just do the strings, right?
Mhm.
If it's like if you just do like kind of standard E chord, there's not a lot of movement going on in the left hand, so it's an easy riff to figure out. But it utilizes odd times. There's a couple of moments where the riff is actually in 7 and the drums do that kind of like metric modulation trip where like the snare kind of ends up on 1 and 3 for a second before they go back to it. And it's, you would not expect that to have been on Animalize,
Right.
at all, especially given on was rest of the band. But I don't, and it's also yet again, it's hooky and it's powerful and just really cool. Always loved "Lonely As Honor," so I gotta since I can't pick tomorrow.
Yeah, I really snaked you. Tomorrow was such a better song.
Yeah.
I think
it's on my list too, Mike.
Admittedly, it is. Absolutely, Tomorrow is a much better song. But just something about "Lonely As a Hunter," I never skipped it.
It's all right.
Nope.
It's not my favorite from that album. If I'm going to be honest, Gene isn't the greatest on that album. At least you got "Burn Bitch Burn," but
Burn.
Right.
Yeah, I was gonna
Right.
say, don't
Yeah.
forget that one.
So, but like, yeah, I really snaked you because Tomorrow is so much better. So I think I won.
Well, I mean, my next one is Burn, but no, I'm just kidding. This is my last pick. I actually am going to go with the one that Mike was joking about on his last pick, and I'm going to say "Let's Put the X in Sex," because that song just gets me, man. Like the whole story about the girl breathing heavy on the phone and sending him, shit in the mail and like whatever. It's a fun song. It's a very, very 80s song, and I love the riffs in it. And you can, this is where I plug my own music. If you check out my last release, Whispers in the Dark, wherever you download your music, Burning Desire is a very kind of let's put the X in sex kind of song. So like you could see that I was influenced by Kiss and Poison and those 80s bands that did songs like that. And for me, it's just a fun listen. You put it on when you're just having a good time. It's not meant to be taken seriously. It's not super profound. It's just got a cool riff. It's got fun lyrics. And it was just Paul being Paul. And that's all you could ask from a song with a title like that.
And you can't forget the music video for that.
Yeah,
Holy shit, man.
right. Of course.
I
Very
remember
course.
watching that
acrobatic.
going, what in the fuck is going on? Why is he under the table? And what
Right.
the fuck is going
What the fuck
on?
is he doing? Oh, I love it. I love
But
it.
good fun song.
Yeah, I mean, I think out of the two of them, I like Rock Hard better. But talk about innuendos on both.
Kiss with innuendos? What?
No, never.
No. We're reading
Well,
into it too much.
well, since we have a long episode here and these guys might need to go, Troy, did you mark down your list?
No, you know I didn't.
Okay. No,
Why do you ask? Why do you ask these
questions
questions?
that I don't know?
Just
Now-
read them.
But now I have to like take the burden of, can I read my handwriting? So so let's see. Troy's list is Torpedo Girl, I Still Love You, War Machine, Mr. Blackwell, Who Wants to Be Lonely, Tears Are Falling, and I. How you feeling about that, Troy?
Feeling pretty good about that, man.
I feel like
I
that's a Troy
should have
list.
snaked Mike because I was between I and Lonely as the Hunter on that last one.
Mm.
But,
Mhm.
I
He
feel
got
like that
snaked
would
a
have made
lot.
it. Yeah, I feel like that would have made it more
Right.
of a Troy list.
right.
Mike got snaked a lot today. A lot.
Well, two big ones, really.
He
Yeah,
looks
just-
distraught over there. Actually, like we heard him today. Then that's a good sign. That means he loves Kiss. So that just like us. All right, my championship team is Creatures of the Night, Naked City, King of the Mountain, Nowhere to Run, I've Had Enough, Into the Fire, 1,000,000 to 1, and Tomorrow.
Mm.
Nice.
Good
Nice.
list.
Good list.
Mike's
Mike,
list.
Did you write yours or no?
I think I did. Let's see. I put my very first one was Escape from the Island. Let's see. What if I said Escape from the Island? I said I'm Alive. I said Good Girl Gone Bad, Fits Like a Glove, Rock and Roll Hell, and Lonely as a Hunter. I think that's my complete
And Young
list.
and Wasted.
And Young and Wasted, live version of
Yeah.
Young and Wasted.
So go
yeah.
go in
I was gonna
order
say.
for what you picked. Escape from the Island, Fits Like a Glove, I'm Alive, Rock and Roll Hell, Young and Wasted, Good Girl Gone Bad, and Lonely is the Hunter.
There you go.
All right. That brings it to me. And I have A World Without Heroes. I'll Fight Hell to Hold You. All Night.
Ugh.
Turn on the Night. Wow, I got a lot of night songs. Murder in High Heels. Thrills in the Night. And Let's Put the X in Sex.
At night.
At night.
Right.
Yes. By the way, I was debating between Let's Put the X in Sex and Thief in the Night. And I thought, well, I already have 3 night
Enough
songs.
nights?
So yeah.
if I didn't get Naked City, Thief in the Night is my second probably favorite Gene song of the 80s.
So who snaked you the most, Chaz? Who got one that you really wanted? I think I know the answer.
I don't know. I pretty much got everything I wanted except Troy hit me with I Still Love You.
Right.
And
Right.
if I would have got I Still Love You, I might have not put I've Had Enough into the fire. But other than that track, I got every single one I wanted.
All right, Troy, what about you?
Nice.
Did anybody really snake one that you had to have?
Nothing. Lonely is the Hunter. I should have done. I kind of think back, but no, not really. I'm pretty solid with my picks.
Mike, do I have to ask or do we know?
No, I was pretty confident in mine. Obviously, yeah, I could do 5 to 10 more if given the chance. But yeah, a couple of them would probably be taken there too.
Yeah.
But no, I feel confident. Feel confident in my standings.
And again, Michael's
Yes.
5-track list was I Love It Loud, Lick It Up, Heaven's on Fire, All Hell's Breaking Loose, Crazy Nights. Just a couple of like honorable mentions I wanted to throw out. We mentioned Thief in the Night, but
Shandy.
another favorite Gene song of mine from that era is While the City Sleeps.
Mhm.
I think that's a great song, as well as No, 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 killer guitar
Mhm.
solo. And if I would have stayed true to my drafting, I should have probably took from Lick It Up Exciter because that's track 1 and it's awesome.
Yeah, it's a good song.
Nobody wants Bang Bang You.
It's a good song too. I sit you down with my love gun, baby.
Nope, no one did.
Oh man, this was fun, but now we got to plan the next one.
All right.
90s and
time.
beyond.
90s and beyond.
Technically 89 and beyond, right?
Yes, 89
Right.
and beyond. So
I
Yeah.
honestly have to do some research for that one too, because I gotta admit, I'm not as familiar with like Sonic Boom and Monster.
I
as
won't
certainly
I
as much
won't
as
ruin
the
it
other
for
ones.
you, but one of those two is really good in my opinion, and one of those two is not so good in my opinion.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
You know what I'm saying? Not saying that one of them's horrible, but I think one of them is much better than the other.
Well, I'll be honest. To me, they're both middle of the road, but that's just my personal opinion. But we got a lot to choose from. Just throwing Hot in the Shade in there too. So
Sure.
So
Right.
you would have Hot in the Shade, you'd have Revenge, you'd
mhm.
have Carnival of Souls, Sonic Boom, and those latter two.
Psycho Circus.
Psycho
Oh,
Circus, too.
Psycho
Yeah.
Circus. So you got
Circus.
right.
7 albums.
Yeah, that's a
All
that's a
right.
decent amount to go by. For that one, we might not be able to go as many rounds because of the fact that there is less, and we will have Michael back for that as well. So
Right.
That's bullshit because we've said that every episode.
yeah, I mean, but there really is less to choose from in there.
It's the same amount as the 70s, 7 albums. So I think we'll be all right.
I didn't say less albums. I said less good songs.
That's not true. You're wrong. You're wrong about that, Robbie.
Robbie, don't upset him.
You're
Yeah,
wrong.
yeah. That's true. He's got to send me the video and audio. So
Yeah. Robbie's audio is going to come back. He's going to sound like Alvin.
Yeah. This time
nothing wrong with that.
the ghostly voice is going to be saying, "Fuck you, man."
Yeah, right.
You
Go to
man."
hell. Every time I talk, it just goes. It just goes back to you guys.
He's just
I
cut
don't know
out
what
of the whole
happened.
video.
All right, guys. Thanks so much for being here, man. I know we
Of
had a long
course,
one
man.
today, so
Absolutely, man. Appreciate it, brother.
That
Who
was
knows?
fun, man. Always
mean,
fun.
I plan on seeing you guys, for the U.S. tour. So we'll have to
Yeah.
link up and see what city I'm gonna pop in, and
Yeah, we'll talk
maybe
about
maybe
what,
I'll even
Cleveland or something, or
Cleveland, Pittsburgh, something.
like that. Yeah, well,
There's
I'll
no-
be with him.
Nice,
So we'll
nice.
come.
Nice.
We'll hang and we'll even bring the equipment, the podcast equipment, just in case a sporadic podcast breaks out where we're like, we should record this right now.
Right? You never know, man. You never
Sure.
can tell.
Well,
Right.
what do you got to promote, Troy, before we get out of here?
That's about it. Just come see us on our run at the end of the year. It should be really killer. We're gonna be playing a lot of stuff we've never played, so it's gonna be super fun.
Like Odyssey from Kiss?
Yes. And
Well-
we're playing actually. All right, I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag. We're doing music from The Elder in its entirety, and no, so
I love it.
Just a lot of Murder Dolls stuff. So it should be really fucking fun.
Oh, that's
man.
right, the Murder Dolls tour. I
Yep.
forgot about that. Yeah, that's all. I'm excited for that. As much as I love Wednesday, Murder Dolls hits me in the heart because I was like teenager then, man. So that's my
Right.
love
Nice.
it.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I really like that music. So, and
Yeah.
we've covered a lot of it over the years. So I'm just looking forward to playing a lot of the other stuff I haven't. So it
Hell
should be
yeah.
killer.
Hell
Can
yeah.
you guys ask Wednesday to do some White Lion?
I mean, I can ask.
Are you guys gonna convince the guitar player? Is it still Jack to learn the guitar solos?
Yes.
Sure.
That won't be easy.
Mike, do you got anything else to promote besides the Wednesday tour? What do you got?
Yeah, actually, I will be playing Morpheus in the stage production of music from The Elder. I only have the one line, right? He's got the light in his eyes and the look of a champion.
Well, that's funny because
so-
Robbie's going to be playing the boy.
Correct.
Oh God.
Correct.
Troy can be Mr. Blackwell,
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
Yep.
and we'll get somebody to play the island. I guess that
I
they're
love it.
escaping from. Yeah.
Yes.
No,
Well-
yeah, Wednesday. Troy already put it best. Yeah, I got the big Wednesday 13 Plays Murder Dolls tour coming up this fall, which should be 18 tons of fun.
Yes.
And in the meantime, if you want to see what I'm up to, check out MikeDupke.com or any of my Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter pages. So
I love it, and I appreciate you guys being here as always.
And then for
Um,
me, I'm going to plug you guys know my Fantasy Football Bros Fantasy Football channel, but check out Chaz's Rock Record Review. I just recorded and released episode 20 today with lovely Jethro Tull, Song of Wood. Not the best album I've done, honestly. One Kiss one in there. The first one I ever kicked off the whole series with was Kiss Revenge. So it's 20 deep now, depending on when this gets released, 20 to 24 or whatever. And Chaz's Rock Record Review on YouTube.
Nice.
I was just checking real quick to see if I could plug some stuff for Michael touring with Steven Adler, Adler's Appetite, whatever you want to to call it, but I'm having a hard time pulling it up right now. But just look for Steven Adler tour dates, and you're going to find Michael Thomas up on stage with him. I know they just recently did the M3 Festival with an amazing lineup of hair bands from Slaughter and Vixen and Lita Ford and Quiet Riot and all that stuff. So I know that just happened recently, but make sure you check them out, man. They're killer to see live and support Michael. And go back and listen to all these guys who all had interviews on the All Bets Are Off podcast.
Nice.
Yeah.
See that? I managed to just loop it all back around. You see that?
Well done. Yeah, very smooth.
Well done, sir. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I've been doing this for a little bit.
Yeah, you're just hitting 4 years right now, right?
Yes. Yeah. 4 years of the All Bets Are Off podcast.
Congratulations.
I kicked it off with Bruce Kulick.
Yep.
He was one of my first episodes. He was one of my first guests.
Like June or
Nice.
May of 2019, pre-pandemic, right? I remember
Yep.
starting that off,
Damn.
helped you out. So
sir.
congratulations on that, Robbie. This is probably your anniversary episode.
Yeah. Yeah. And check me out on all social media if you want to see me wrestle, or if you're just down to listen to my tunes.
And I am definitely, absolutely. I was serious. I'll walk you with one of them matches, man. And if I can spit some vodka and help you out in the match. All right, man.
I mean, I'm serious too. I was dead ass serious.
Bro,
Dead
I've
ass
seen
serious too, man.
I've seen his last few matches. I've seen a lot of his matches, but I've been watching his last few matches. He needs some help, Troy.
I'm not fucking getting in there, but I'll sit side and
Hey, pretty soon when I'm wearing that heavyweight title, everybody's going to be like, oh shit, sorry, I talk shit.
fucking A, baby.
That's right.
All right, guys, thank you all for being here. I
Okay,
appreciate
man.
it. And we will see you guys for the 90s draft.